a lot of times we don't count the cost of elevation. We think we can stay comfortable and elevate. We think elevation shouldn't require any uncomfortability on our part. But sometimes elevation looks like loss. Sometimes it looks like removing that toxic relationship. Sometimes elevation, and yes, it's going to hurt because heartbreak is hard, but it's needed for God to bring in that person that is really meant for you. Sometimes elevation looks like waking up earlier. No longer can you sleep in and just lollygag. Sometimes elevation looks like doing the things you don't want to do. Sometimes elevation looks like getting rid of those negative thought patterns, going through the heartbreak, going through the job loss. But the job loss is really opening the door for you to start that business idea and that venture you've been wanting to do. But it's a loss. But in God's eyes, it's elevation. This is why it's so important for us to be so in tune and connected with God, because sometimes our elevation doesn't look like what we think it's supposed to look like. God is giving you an open door in the form of a problem, and you're crying to him. But if you can look with your spiritual eyesight, you can actually see the opportunity within the trial. But you have to open your spiritual eyes to see it properly. But even then, it's still going to hurt. You're still going to have to go through the emotions. David had to go through the emotions of losing his best friend, of mourning the king of Israel. And Israel had lost a major battle. So Israel felt this humiliation. They felt like God had abandoned them. But God was really setting them up to put a new king in place. Because wherever God plans for destruction, he also plans for restoration. Because God's goal is always restoration. It's always repentance. It's always restoring. But sometimes in order for God to restore, he has to deconstruct what is no longer working. That is why even a lot of us, when we are new to Christ, God will send us into a season of isolation, because he has to remove you from those bad influences and get you into a secluded place where he can shower you with his wisdom. He may even start having you go to church and, get in, godly community, so he can immerse you in his word, immerse you in his truth. And I know a lot of us can remember that season where God really did call us. It was isolating. You felt like I was crying. Like, it was hard. You felt like you didn't fit in anywhere anymore. It's just like, what is going on? But I didn't know 4 or 5 years ago that when God saved me, I was about to be here leading Holy It Girl. And so he had to deconstruct and tear apart what wasn't working, even my mindset. He had to tear that all apart and build it up to something better.